Tonight's story takes us to a rural home, isolated from the world, where something far more sinister than darkness lurked the night the power went out. Strange noises, mysterious figures, and a growing sense of dread surround our storyteller. This is the night the power went out. Let's dive in. It all started on a calm evening in the countryside. The Redditor, who we'll call Sam, was at home alone, miles away from the nearest neighbor. Living in a rural area had its perks: peace, quiet, and the beauty of nature. But that night, the isolation took on a terrifying new meaning. It was around 10 p.m. when the power went out. Not a flicker, not a warning, just complete darkness. At first, Sam wasn't too concerned. Power outages happened from time to time out there, especially during storms. But tonight, the weather was calm. There wasn't even a breeze, just an eerie, unnatural stillness outside. Grabbing a flashlight, Sam decided to check the fuse box. The house felt colder than usual, but that could have been the lack of heat. The flashlight's beam cut through the darkness, casting long shadows on the walls as Sam moved through the house. Everything was quiet, too quiet. That's when it started. At first, it was just a light tapping. Faint, barely noticeable. Sam paused, thinking it might have been a tree branch brushing against the side of the house. But as they listened, the tapping became more distinct, rhythmic, deliberate. It was coming from the window in the living room. Sam approached the window cautiously, shining the flashlight toward the glass. The beam reflected back at them, but through the glare they could make out a shape. It looked like someone was standing just outside, motionless, as if waiting for Sam to notice them. Their hearts started to race. They lived far from anyone, so who could it possibly be at this hour? Sam tried to tell themselves it was just their imagination, maybe a trick of the light. But the figure didn't move. It just stood there, staring through the window. Suddenly there was a louder noise, something scraping against the side of the house. Sam jumped, backing away from the window. The sound was coming from the other side of the house now, as if someone or something was circling the home. Sam's mind raced. Was it an animal? A person? Either way, it wasn't good. Then came the footsteps, faint at first but growing louder, crunching through the gravel just outside the back door. Sam's breath caught in their throat. Whoever, or whatever it was, they were getting closer. Gripping the flashlight tightly, Sam moved toward the back door. They wanted to peek outside, see who was there, but fear kept them rooted in place. The footsteps stopped directly in front of the door, and then came a knock. Slow, deliberate, almost mocking. Knock, knock, knock. Sam froze. Every instinct told them not to answer. The air felt heavy, the darkness pressing in on all sides. They took a step back, and that's when they heard it, a voice, barely more than a whisper, coming from the other side of the door. "Let me in." It wasn't a plea. It wasn't a question. It was a command. The voice was cold, devoid of any emotion. Sam didn't move, didn't speak. The knocking came again, louder this time, more insistent. Whatever was out there wanted in, and Sam knew they couldn't let it. Then, the scratching returned, this time from the windows, like nails dragging down the glass. The voice outside repeated, "Let me in." Sam's heart pounded in their chest. They backed away from the door, retreating to the center of the room. The flashlight began to flicker, its beam weakening. The knocking grew more frantic, the voice louder, repeating its demand over and over. Just when Sam thought they couldn't take it anymore, the sound stopped. The knocking, the scratching, the voice. All of it. Gone. The only sound left was Sam's own ragged breathing and the eerie silence that filled the house. For a moment, Sam thought it was over, that maybe, whatever it was, had gone. But then, from the far corner of the room, they heard the unmistakable creak of a floorboard. Something or someone was inside the house. Sam didn't wait to find out what. They grabbed their phone and bolted for the front door, rushing outside into the cold night air. The flashlight finally gave out, plunging everything into darkness. Sam didn't stop running until they were halfway down the road, their heart pounding in their ears. The next morning, after a sleepless night spent at a friend's house, Sam returned to find the house exactly as they'd left it. The power had come back on, and everything seemed normal, except for the scratches on the windows and the faint, muddy footprints leading from the back door into the woods. Sam never found out who or what had visited them that night. But one thing was certain, the next time the power went out, they wouldn't be sticking around to find out what was lurking in the dark. Thank you for joining us for this spine-chilling tale. If this story made you think twice about being alone in the dark, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more unsettling tales from the creepy archives. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.